torn. Come on. This isn't meant to be political or anything. This is about the American Song Contest. Hello, this is J.E. Realize. You Europeans are so lucky you get to vote in Eurovision, at least the ones who do. I mean, I only got the ability to vote for a similar contest recently. And I've just submitted my votes for the second show. The first show I've also done as well. And I wanted to do an episode 1.5 where I would talk about my top 11. Didn't get around to it. So I guess we're just going to talk a little bit about it in episode 2. But first, the viewing figures for the first episode of American Song Contest were embarrassing. Not even 3 million views. Which meant that not only did they lose to American Idol, and because of all this, NBC has lost to ABC, Fox, and CBS in the same time slot. Which explains a little bit of what the NBC was doing to the ASC this episode. So they changed a little bit of the format, a little more behind the scenes stuff. You didn't really notice that much. In the performances, you would see, instead of the abbreviation of the state, you would see the full name of the state and the performer under it rather than their TikTok handle. Their TikTok handle would be moved to their postcard. And then there's the issue of the voting results. First off, I gotta say, why? Why NBC, Propagate Media, whoever, did you decide to reveal all the juries who are voting? And on top of that, you only had 1 for each state and territory rather than 5 for ESC. Aren't you worried about corruption? Whatever. It's NBC. It's a commercialized version of American Song Contest. What was I going to expect? But what really floored me was they revealed the ranking for the jury votes from the previous episode. You know how Rhode Island was selected? Well, there were all these other entries based on how they ranked in the jury selection, which I gotta say, I'm not a fan of. I mean, it's not as blasphemous as just revealing the total point totals right away, but it's still in bad taste. But to start off the show, we got to select who was going to advance to join Rhode Island, Houston. Texas won't compete until next week, smartass. And what we got was the following. No, not Fox is the following. I mean, first off, we got Alexa, which no one was surprised. Then second, we got Michael Bolton, which I really love that. Michael Bolton was my favorite entry of the night for reasons I've kind of alluded to last episode. And third, it was kind of a bit of a surprise. Puerto Rico. You know what? Let them have it. My other members of the top 3 didn't make it. I'll probably go into depth on a full ranking eventually, but not right now. So I guess we should get into the acts themselves. Basically, I was kind of hyped for all of these entries. In a way, I wasn't for episode 1. I got the songs a bit early, I listened to the songs, I saw some of the performances, and I steeled myself. I didn't really have that much time with the songs before the first episode, but now I'm feeling a little bit more confident, so I didn't have the whole I'm not really into it until the 6th song problem. Then again, I also didn't have the my brother's girlfriend telling me I don't like this problem, so there's that. We gotta check all our factors. First act is Oregon. Now, I gotta give credit to where credit is due. These guys owned up to their pretentious nature in how they looked, behaved, and, of course, their song. It was wow. You thought New Boo Goofin was a mess? It's like, I admittedly kind of had fun with the song. And sure, it wasn't anywhere near my favorite, but, you know, I admired it for what it was. Montana, however, it's time for you to know a little bit about me. I had a country music phase from 2008 to 2009, and while I got introduced to quite a few neat songs like Love Story by Taylor Swift, I don't remember if Carrie Underwood's Just a Dream was also around that time, but it was close. It was close. Carrie Underwood was like, what, winner of season 4 or something of American Idol? I don't know. We'll get into American Idol later. Well, by not getting into American Idol, you'll see what I mean. But eventually I just moved on to the top 40s for country music because I wasn't really liking a whole bunch of country music, and eventually I kind of gave up on that as well because most country music I saw was kind of samey. You know, if you're singing about riding around on tractors and making big money and all this sort of stuff, eventually I'm going to get tired of that sort of stuff. Fire It Up, it was so obnoxiously country to me, to the point where I just didn't care about the entry. Of course, other people will disagree with my take. And in fact, the juries really liked Never Like This. It had a similar problem, but it wasn't as obnoxious as Fire It Up. So, yeah. Next up we have New York. Admittedly, I wasn't really hyped for New York, and it isn't just because I'm a Californian. I have my biases. I'm going to talk about Texas next week. Stay tuned for that. But I heard the song, and it felt kind of It didn't really excite me. But then when the song and performance came in, I was looking at it in my rankings, and it just made the top 5. I don't know what that tells you. Honestly, I like most of these songs. Even Fire It Up, which I find kind of obnoxious. I don't outright hate it. I dislike it for various reasons, but if it's on my playlist, I wouldn't skip it. So, New York, I gotta give you credit. I really do. You probably don't care about me. Although I find kind of funny that Anissa just kind of did the whole New York is famous for its pizza trope after what we saw with Michael Bolton. It's like, Anissa's all like, the best pizza is in New York. Michael Bolton's like, New York has the best pizza in New York. Sometimes I like to take jabs at New York, you know, not as serious as a few years down the line, but no, every once in a while we got a rivalry going. And then, Nebraska. A song I didn't really pay much attention to until the performance came in, and it kind of hit me. In a vein similar to Michael Bolton last week, but not really as hard. Michael Bolton really sold the song to the point where it really punched you in the heartstrings. Nebraska, however, it was more of a kind of there, but if you listen to it, it gets to you sort of thing. Good job, but at the same time, I don't expect it to qualify. It would be a surprise if it did. You know, I'm kind of in a tough stage in my life. I kind of need songs like that, but every so often. And then we get the U.S. Virgin Islands and Cruise Rock and Celebranto. And it kind of surprises me that they're going for the whole Latin dance number thing, despite the fact that we already had Puerto Rico qualify with the Latin dance number kind of thing. I didn't hate it, though. It was pretty solid. So, that's all I can really say. Next up is Kentucky, and really the reason I brought up American Idol is because they say Jordan Smith won Season 9 of The Voice. I don't care for The Voice, or really singing shows in general. Like, if you were to ask me who I know about the winners of these singing shows, I really only know one X Factor US winner, several American Idol winners, nothing from The Voice, or America's Got Talent for that matter. And The Voice, I don't really know what's going on with that series besides the whole the judges are turned their backs against you, you sing, and you have to hope they don't hit the buzzer and turn around or that sort of stuff. I have no idea otherwise. And the song Sparrow, It's like, if you would take My Friend from 2017 Eurovision and Rock Bishvilo from 2013 Eurovision and put them together, the song you would get would be That Baby's First Cousin. I have to be careful with what I said, because I kind of implied that Houston's song was basing itself off of Arcade. Although Houston's song is more like a mix of Arcade and Me and My Guitar, in retrospect. So, when Sparrow hit, I was like, oh goodness. The reality is, I hear so many of these ballads in Eurovision that I was just not sold. Okay, you got this song, and it's like RMMP3, whatever. Oh, I forgot the whole first cousin thing. It was because RMMP3 was also in the family tree or something. So, really, I just didn't care about it. It was a good song. It's just I've heard this many times before in Eurovision. I passed on it. Then we got North Dakota, which is rather interesting because it kind of feels like grunge and rock, except it's not really either of them. I kind of like that energy. Gotta give props to her. And then we got Kansas, which... Okay, time to go back into country. Country and hip-hop, I believe, are kind of two halves of the same whole, two sides of the same coin, whereas they kind of basically have the basic structure of what their most basic levels of songs are all like. I be riding around in whips, I be sporting these golden chains, getting around with women, making paper, I got a million ways to get it, she was one. And really, as much as hip-hop defines itself with that, country kinda has it the same way. And it could likely be because I'm just aware of those LCD, lowest common denominator entries, but I just don't really have much of an interest. Like, it's gotten to the point where I get kind of annoyed that someone passes by and blasts hip-hop. I'm like, could we really just blast any other genre? Even country! I would tolerate, at least that would be new to hear, being blasted off of a car. This song, though, Tell Me, was not quite the same vein. It was really electronic. I don't know how you would describe it. It's got this nice electronic beat that really sold the song on me. I actually really loved Kansas's entry. It's good. It's solid. And I think that's really my problem with hip-hop, is that I have to go through and sort things out and figure out, okay, which ones do I really like? And there's just so much trash in between. Next up, we got Virginia, and this song I found special because this R&B. R&B, yeah, it's kind of take it or leave it for me, but when it's good, it's really good. And basically, Almira Zaki, she said in her postcard that it was a callback to the 90s and 2000s, and I can feel it. And in fact, really like that because, you know, I kind of like that whole mid-2000s style of music. So, I gotta give a lot of respect for putting this on my Sunday Night Slow Jams list. I'm gonna call up R-Dub and see if he can get this song on the list next time. You never know. American Song Contest songs aren't really getting as much traction. I haven't even checked the Billboard lists. I should check the Billboard lists. Give me a second. This is not good. It's not on the Hot 100. Okay, this is not promising. This isn't promising. It's just does not look like these songs are charting. Well, that sucks. That really does. After Virginia, we got Maine. And King Coyote with the song Get Out Alive. I remember hearing the snippets of the song weeks ago, and I also looked at the full release of the song that came out a while back. That was 5 minutes long. I was like, really? It's too excessive for 5 minutes. It's like you could trim that down to under 4 minutes easily, and it would probably get a little bit more flow. This guy managed to trim it down to the under 3 minute limit provided by the American Song Contest guys, and at risk of making myself sound like a dork, I would say it qualifies as being a slap. This song I had looked forward to this song ever since I heard that snippet. Like, he said it was fire, and I honestly believe him. Easily, hands down, my favorite song of the night. And the fact that he cut it down to 3 minutes just made the flow even better. So, yeah, you can tell who I gave my 10 points to right off the bat. And finally, we got Ohio and Macy Gray. It's a really nice soul-like song. No, not Souls-like. I haven't played those games in forever. You know, pretty nice. Kind of odd that that closed out the show, but okay. And then we got the announcement of who was going to be the jury qualifier, and it was Kentucky. Sparrow. What? Okay. I can't say anything about what the juries are doing because I don't know what the juries are doing, and in fact I shouldn't know what juries are doing until after the show, guys! But really, Sparrow? Not to knock the guy, but I just don't see it. But then again, that's the juries. And honestly, as much as I don't like the result I got, I would still keep the juries and the televote and the 50-50 system, because the way I see it, as much as the public songs, you know, do well and catch people's attention, there's always a chance, more likely than you think, that those songs do not age well. So I like when the jury balances it out to give the edge to songs that are more well-constructed and could be looked at later as pretty decent songs. It's like, there are pros and cons to each, and I would like them both, please. Sparrow, however, that just befuddles me. But it's NBC. What are you gonna do? Argue against NBC? File a lawsuit? You're crazy! It's like, I don't even have 200 subscribers. What does it matter to me? And besides, there's still a chance that King Coyote will make it to the semifinal through the public vote. He better. I don't really know what to talk about anymore, so I think I'm just gonna cut it right here. This has been J.E. Realize. Do the feedback thing, like, comment, subscribe, or dislike, because I compared songs to other songs. By the way, I should probably do that. Take a list of all the songs in ASC and compare them to ESC songs. That should be fun. Follow me on Twitter at J.E. Realize. This has been J.E. Realize. I'll see you next time, and there will not be a birthday April this year. I'm sorry. I just don't have the headspace for it. Or the computer space. Maybe next year, though. Maybe next year I'll make it up to you.